The Flash issue 752 heads to the Flash Museum, where Paradox deals with the traitorous Godspeed, who says that Flash will be coming back soon, and when he does, he will run circles around the villain. Paradox knows that that won't be happening, since it's the end of the Flash legacy, and August misunderstands what's happening, since he's killed Flash before, and he will kill him again. Iris watches on, hoping that Barry really isn't dead, as Barry is reunited with his mother. He asks her where he is, since a villain named Paradox was threatening the city and he needs to get back there. Nora says that Flash's days of fighting are over. She removes his mask so she can see her son properly, and Barry tells her that her death was his fault, since there was a man named Eobard Thawne who wouldn't have been there had it not been for him. She tells him to stop talking about that man, since it's all in the past now and now they can catch up. But first she wants to show him his new home. Down in a valley nearby, Flash finds a giant city dedicated to him and other speedsters. His mother welcomes him to Flash City, telling him that for so long Barry never admitted that he was great, but he inspired generations of heroes, and even before he was the Flash, he worked tirelessly to right injustices as a CSI. Grabbing his mother, Barry races into the city, surprising his mother, who finds speeding around so much fun. She also knows all about how Barry got his powers, as does everyone else in the city. Soon people come to see him, amazed that the Flash is actually there. Nora reveals that these are all the people that the Flash has saved over the years, and now they get to live in paradise with him. Not only that, but his family is there as well, as Barry sees Wally, Avery and Wallace. Barry asks where Iris is, but his mother says that everyone his life has touched is there with him, and he is a legend. So it's time for him to stop running and to enjoy what he has earned. Putting on his cowl, Barry thinks that this is all great, but he knows that none of it is real, and neither is his mother. Speeding around the city, he finds that the world is a construct of type, a very complicated one, and the thing that gives it away is that it has no vibrational frequency, something every world in the multiverse has. Nora says that she knows it's a lot to take in, but he has fought for so long and all he does is run and run. But all of this is very real and it's everything Barry could ever want, so now he can rest. Barry says that he's been dead before and has seen the other side of the Speed Force, and he knows that this isn't it. Nora again tries to convince him, but since Barry won't listen, she orders the people to attack him, saying that he should be honored for what Paradox has built him. Barry wishes this place was real, but Nora tells him that he can make it real and finally be in heaven. Barry knows that he could have just stayed there, but he would always know that Paradox was free in his world, and for Paradox to mess with him like this and use his mother's memory like this, he will make sure the villain will pay. Barry begins vibrating, saying that since this place doesn't have a frequency, he will give it one. Flash begins vibrating so intensely he rips himself out of the dream machine Paradox trapped him in, finding himself in the place Paradox was trapped in for years. Barry knows that if the Speed Force had a heaven, this would be its hell, but he keeps moving through the wasteland, soon finding the ship graveyard. He looks over the ships and the bodies inside, apologizing to the corpses that he wished he could have helped them. He finds Paradox's antenna, but is suddenly overcome with pain as the energy of the world begins to eat him away, just like what happened to the corpses and what happened to Paradox. As he is racked with pain, he realizes that Paradox wore some armor, but it wasn't the source of his powers, so maybe it was to help protect his body from this realm. Speeding around the wasteland, Barry disassembles the old ships and uses it to fashion an armor that protects him from the deadly energy. Barry knows that Paradox expects him to buy into that paradise world, but he wonders why he was being kept alive. Knowing he needs to get back to Central City for answers, Barry speeds around the ruins, constructing a computer bank as he remembers just before he was banished there, he heard Iris tell him there was one man who defeated Paradox before, Eobard Thawne, the Reverse Flash. Barry knows that he will never work with Eobard, but he needs the information the villain has. But Iris killed him in the 25th century, so finding him won't be easy since it's not a matter of where, it's a matter of when. Constructing a cosmic treadmill, Barry knows that it's been a while since he traveled through time, and even Commander Cole told him that now time travel was impossible, but that was before the Speed Force barrier was repaired and he was supercharged, so maybe he can now. Boarding the treadmill, Barry begins running, knowing time travel is dangerous, but he needs to find Eobard. He knows he cannot pull from a random point in time, since that could create another paradox or even worse, another flashpoint. But he knows the one moment where he will always find Reverse Flash, the moment the villain killed his mother. The Flash 752 was a great continuation of the Paradox arc, and it took a really interesting turn there at the end. I really liked that Barry was immediately aware that the place he was taken to when he was killed, quote unquote, by Paradox wasn't real at all. And I'm very happy they didn't do a bunch of issues where Barry spends time there and over time he starts realizing that maybe this is all isn't right. We've seen that a million times before, so I'm glad they just dropped all that, and it shows a little bit of character development that he's able to pick up on things like that, especially tying it in with the vibrations of the multiverse and how this place didn't have one, so he knew it wasn't real. That was pretty cool. Barry having to go and find Eobard and team up with him is pretty obvious. I kind of called that last issue, but I don't know about him going back to when his mother died to get him, especially since he mentioned not creating more flashpoints or stuff like that, yet he's going to the exact point where the flashpoint was created. I don't know, that doesn't really make much sense to me, but it might lead to some great drama where, to keep it all intact, he has to watch his mother die at the hand of Eobard, and I'm sure Eobard will play that up to the nines since he's such a theatrical villain. So I'm looking forward to seeing that, but it just didn't really make much sense to me, that part. I'm going to give this issue an 8 out of 10.